Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the latest edition of Choppin It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Hey, listen, before we get started, man, just want to say happy Sunday to everybody out there. I hope today is a blessed day for all, and I hope your weekend is capped off with positivity and everything that you want it to be. But for us here at Chopping It Up with Ramel, we're going to get started right now. And our show is going to start with college sports and end with college sport. Listen, I'm not sure what's going to happen at 12 o'clock this afternoon with this college committee picking the top 4 teams to play in the playoff, but I wouldn't want the assignment today. There's a lot of teams out there that made a case that they should be in the top 4. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Alabama is in. They're in. Ohio State sitting at number 2, didn't have a game, but the fact that they at number 2, in my mind, they should be in. Clemson, they went out there and they won last night. It wasn't the prettiest game, or it wasn't a game of domination, but they got the job done as the number 3 team in the country. They went out there, they held, and they won their conference final. The ACC, with a victory of 42-35 over Virginia Tech. Exciting game. Deshaun Watson came up big. Okay? And then there's Washington. Deshaun Watson, that is. I'm sorry. But then there's Washington, as they went out there and they beat up on they won the Pac-12. They beat up on Colorado, the number 18, and did they? And they did it from both sides of the ball, man. Interception, pick sixes, offense. They did it from both sides of the ball as they dominated the Colorado team of 41-10. And then there's Penn State. What a game that was last night. Probably the best of them all. What a game. Down 28-7 to not only come back and win, but to win big in the second half. They took this one 35-31, I believe it was. What a game it was. McSorley, the quarterback, he looked like he's going to be playing on Sunday afternoons with a performance like that. 22 for 31, threw for 384 yards. I questioned where was the Penn State's defense early on in the first half. This is a defense that I thought was probably one of the best in the country, but they allowed their opponent, Wisconsin, to run the ball at will in the first half as they piled up a 28-7 lead. And then it was 28-14 at the half. But when the defense needed a stop, they got to stop. I mean, it wasn't always pretty, but when they needed a stop, they got to stop. And I'll tell you what, man, that was a game if a finals game had to be played like that, then that's what you're looking for. Penn State came up big. It seemed like they were well coached in that second half. They didn't lose their composure. They stayed poised. They stayed focused. They kept their eye on the spiral, and they was there, man. I mean, what a game last night. So I say to you guys out there, who is the top 4? I know who's my top 4. I'm going with Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, and Penn State. There's no way Ohio State doesn't get in, and you can't keep Penn State out by winning the Big Ten and plus beating Ohio State. I think Washington gets squeezed out. It's unfortunate. If I had my way, it'd be 4 division winners, conference championship winners, and 2 wild cards. That's how I would do it. Have a 16 playoff. The 1 and 2 have a bye, and we go from there. But what a performance by Penn State. I can't say enough about Penn State. I cannot say enough about Penn State. Is that okay? Okay. I thought maybe I had a text from someone. Give me 1 second here. But again, at 12 o'clock, the committee will start their picking. And no doubt, I mean, Alabama been the number 1 team all year. They just demolished Florida. I mean, it's 54, whatever. They just demolished them. Ohio State, do they get squeezed out? Because this week they didn't play, and does anybody leap them? I mean, does a number 3 team that beat a number 23 team, do they leap them? Does a number 4 team that played a number 18 and win, do they leap them? Does Penn State, because they won the Big Ten, number 17 beats a number 16, but also has a victory on their resume from the number 2 team, do they leap them? Michigan is sitting at number 5. Unfortunately, their season comes to an end. There's no scenario that I can see Michigan getting in, sitting at number 5 with no opportunity to play in. They had no game today. So great season by Michigan. They did some nice things, but it comes to an end. It comes to an end last night. Clearly, it comes to an end. There's no scenario where they're playing in the top 4. But what a performance by Penn State. I believe there's a lot of defenders on that Penn State team that's going to be playing on Sunday afternoons. I think the quarterback may have a chance. I'm not sure what year he is at Penn State. But, man, what a game. What a story. I mean, this has been one of the more prominent franchises or prominent schools in college football history. And then within the last 8 years, they had a scandal that rocked them, set them back. After a couple of years of shuffling in, shuffling out, and trying to get back to respectability, man, they're there. You know, I don't know their situation as far as who's a senior and who's eligible for the draft or whatever the case is. But I tell you what, the program looked like it's back on track. It looks like a program that we once knew. And I guess it's good for college football. It's healthy for college football that Penn State is relevant again. And you know, whether they get in the top 4 or not, they had a season to be grateful for and to be remembered for. And next year, I wouldn't be surprised if they come out as one of the early favorites, especially if they return in a lot of players, man. So that's a great story there. You can't ask for much more than that. That's just a great story. Penn State getting the job done. Stars playing like stars when stars need to be stars. Let me repeat that. Stars playing like stars when stars need to be stars. Just a tremendous effort by the Penn State. So that was college football. We're gonna move over to the NFL now. Before I go to the NFL, I just want to make one quick note about Major League Baseball. The winter meeting starts today. So look for some activity to start beginning within 24 hours to 48 hours with some trades, free agent signings. This is Christmas morning or Christmas week in the Major League Baseball. So keep an eye on that as the Mets kicked off by re-signing their own Cespedes last week. Good signing, by the way. NFL. Listen, we were talking about playoffs in college football. Well, the playoffs is now in the football. Whether it's for positioning or if you think you still have a chance, the playoffs is now. I mean, there's some quality games on this week, man. I mean, you got some quality games on this week. You got some quality games on this week. Kansas City comes into the Georgia Dome, my backyard, to play Atlanta. Looked like at one point or another, Atlanta was going to have this division wrapped up fairly easily. That's not the case anymore. You know, you got Tampa Bay right on their tail, just a game behind. So with that said, Atlanta has to play this like they're fighting for a playoff spot. I mean, that's the bottom line. They have to play this like they're fighting for a playoff spot. And here's the thing. Tampa Bay goes out west to play San Diego. San Diego hasn't been a dominant team. They haven't been a dominant team. Is there a caller on the line?
Hello?
Yeah, who's on the line?
Yes, this is Greg from Gainesville.
Greg,
how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Greg, long time no hear, man. What's going on?
Man. Oh, I've been busy celebrating, man, so excuse my voice, man. Yeah, you know my Penn State is my my Nittany Lions, man.
Woo!
What a great game, man.
Man. Hey, Greg, man, right before you called, I was saying that, man, that's the way to finish off a season, man. I mean, what a performance by those guys. It's great for their school. And I said this a few minutes ago, and I'll say it again. Greg, they got some defenders on that team that's going to be playing Sunday afternoon. And the way McSorley looked yesterday, he may be playing on Sunday afternoons too, man. The guy was 22 for 31 and 384 yards with 4 touchdowns, Greg. And he was down 28-7, man. What a game, man. What a game.
That's what I told, man. I've been getting phone calls, man, from a lot of people, man, and they were like, I did not know Penn State was playing like that. You know, but I told them it was gradually through the season. Now, we had to come together, you know, and, you know, we've always had a team. We just had to come together. You know what I mean?
Hey.
You know, it was just great to see. Now, what I want to ask you is, what do you think about us getting into the 4?
Yeah, you know, going into yesterday, I felt like with the win over Ohio State, and if Penn State was to win the championship, there's no way you keep them out, especially if Ohio State is selected. And I thought that Clemson and Washington not only had to win, but they had to win in impressive ways. And I'm going to tell you, clearly Washington dominated their win. So Clemson, it looks like it was a struggle. You know,
Right.
It looked like it was a struggle. They won, they prevailed, but they didn't dominate the way Washington dominated.
Right.
My question is this. Did they impress the voters enough to prevent Penn State from leaping them? That's the question that you have to ask. Because say, whatever, Penn State win was captivating. It was exciting. You know, it's a needle mover. You know what I'm saying? The question is, the win that Clemson had, does it move the needle? But Penn State's win moves the needle. Wherever you have Penn State, you now got to move them. You got to move them upwards.
Yeah, they got to move somewhere, man.
So
That's crazy. And the thing, you know, but you know what? Really, I think which really locked and messed a lot of things up because they put Ohio State number 2, man.
what?
It bloodies it up. It messes it up, man. I don't think they should have been number 2.
Well, here's the thing. They were number 2 pretty much all season long. And what happened was when they lost to Penn State, that was their chance to drop in the standings or drop in the rankings. But then that same week, or the following week, I should say, everybody else lost. Michigan lost. Clemson lost. Washington lost. So what happened now, when you put the one-loss teams together and lump them together, who's the better of the one-loss teams? And then Ohio State went and beat the number 3 Michigan at the time.
Right.
So, I mean, I think Ohio State is in its rightful place. It may screw up Penn State in a way if they go with the top 4. But I tell you what, man, I don't know if Clemson's win was as pretty or more exciting than Penn State's win.
More convincing.
Right. So I think Washington is going to be in because they dominated. Clemson could be on the bubble. You know, Deshaun Watson threw an interception. I mean, he got the job done. Don't get me wrong. And you know, and I would rather see Clemson in than Washington in, because I want Penn State in.
Right.
I want to see Alabama play Penn State in the first round.
But if you want to see who?
Alabama play Penn State in the first round.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good game.
I especially if this offense shows up.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
because I wasn't aware of this offense. I was only aware of their defense. If this offense shows up, they can beat anybody.
Right. I agree.
They can beat anybody. So, man, what a performance by Penn State, man. I listen, I'm not the biggest college football buff or guru, man. But I know, I know, yes. You know, and the eye test is no different than no notes straight from the throat.
Right, exactly.
You know, I'm not an analytics guy or anything like that, man. Either you have it or you don't. And what I seen from Penn State, they had it. They have it.
Yeah. I was thinking about you, man, last night when I was watching the game. I said, I know this guy's watching the game going, wow.
And that's just exactly what I did. Yo, Greg, when I came home, I turned on the game and I saw the score. I said, wow, what happened to this Penn State defense? And then I'm flicking back between that and the Laker game, you know, because with the Memphis and occasionally checking on the Clemson game. So I'm flipping back and forth. And then all of a sudden, I see a gradual comeback. And I'm like, wait a minute. Let's keep this here. Let's keep this here. Because, you know, one thing about watching sports, man, you don't want to miss something that you needed to see. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be told about it. You need to see it. Yeah, I wouldn't want to miss the comeback when I had an opportunity to watch it.
Right.
And
you can feel, in certain things you can watch, you can feel the momentum building.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, I think I better stay right here.
And it started with the missed field goal.
Right.
And I said, okay, something might happen here. The next thing I know, 70-yard touchdown pass. I'm like, what?
70 yards, man.
You can't script it better than that, man. You can't script it better than that.
And that was on the first, that was on first down.
Yeah, first down.
First
First play.
play.
And you know what? I nearly missed it because I stepped away. You know how you go to the refrigerator?
Yeah.
And I'm walking and looking back. And I said, what? Yeah.
That's what I did, man. I was in the kitchen, man, and I heard them screaming. I had to run back to the TV, man. Like, what?
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Kudos to the coach. Kudos to the coach.
A lot of guys. I didn't hear you say.
I was going to say kudos to the coach at Penn State because that team could have easily, put their heads down, shrugged their shoulders, and just folded, man. But they kept their composure. They kept digging back, man. They stayed focused, man. And that's a sign of a coach that keeps his guys not only well coached but well prepared, man. They never gave up, man. They could have easily walked away and said, this is the season. And walked away and had a decent season. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
right.
who had Penn State playing for the Big Ten championship?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody. I even, what I'm saying, was wondering about that. I was like, nah, I know right now we still building. No, man, we have some great kids on that side.
Yeah, it's a great story, a phenomenal story, Greg. Yeah, I'm about to touch on the NFL. I know you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. You've been that for years. Yeah. Right now the Giants are rolling. I mean, if the Cowboys weren't 11-1, we'll be talking about the Giants being the best of the NFC East, man. I'm not sure how the Giants is doing it, but who gets the win today, Greg? Pittsburgh or the Giants?
Man, my Pittsburgh Steelers, man. My Pittsburgh, no. You know why? And it's a half a bar. That's why. The reason why is that half a ball has nothing to do with the field. It has all to do with where they're playing at.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Because if it was in Giant Stadium, we'll lose.
Okay. I tell you what, man. I tell you what. I told some people on the job that and they were Giant fans too. I told them that Pittsburgh is going to win simply because Pittsburgh's motto all year has been win every other game. You know what I'm saying? So this is the game they win. That's what it's been for them, man. And and the thing about it, Pittsburgh is clearly in playoff mode, man. They have a chance to win that division. That division has probably been one of the more sorriest divisions in NFL right now. I mean, Cincinnati should have ran away with the division. They can't get out their own way. I wouldn't be surprised if Marvin Lewis gets fired at the end of the season. Baltimore Ravens is really on a rebuild. They're not there yet, but one thing about Baltimore, you're going to get a team that's going to play hard. And you can't underestimate Flacco. Cleveland, they won't lose this weekend. I guarantee that, man, unless something changes because they're on the bye week. But they're just the worst team in football, you know. So, and then there's Pittsburgh, man. And I gotta say this, Greg. I've been watching football for a long time, and there was a time when I used to root for the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the Steel Curtain days, man. And I tell you what, man. One thing we knew about the DNA of the Pittsburgh Steelers is that every year they were going to put a defensive team out there. I didn't see that this year, man. This has got to be the weakest defensive team ever assembled by Pittsburgh Steelers brass.
I agree.
And
I agree.
And it shows.
And the thing about it is, you know, it's the defense as a whole, but man, our defensive backs, man, are horrible, man. Do you hear me? They are horrible.
Yeah.
I watched them. Why do we give these receivers so much room? So much room, man. I've never seen it before without seeing that.
You know, maybe it's easier to play defense with space than to get burnt and get beat over the top. You know, I figured, well, if they can.
Well, the safety has to get there, Ramel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
Like both receivers on a team, like both of them are going to be, you know what I'm saying, my quarterbacks. Not both of them. So it's got to be, you got to key in on that one guy, man. The safety just has to stay over there. He just has to stay over there.
Yeah, I agree, Greg. I tell you what, though, man, despite their deficiencies and not just being a typical Pittsburgh Steelers year or team, I think they get it done this week simply because it's been their MO all year. Win every other game, man. And, you know, I think the Giants will come out and play hard, you know, and I think Eli would want this win, but especially with people questioning who would you choose or who would you want in a game, Big Ben or Eli. I tell you what, man, Big Ben is probably the better quarterback than Eli, man. You know, he's a little bit more mobile than Eli, and he can extend the play and make things happen. And he's got 2 Super Bowl wins as well. But one thing about Eli, man, you know, this guy comes up big in the clutch. He doesn't run from the moment. He hangs in the pocket. He takes a hit, keeps on ticking. I mean, I think he's right now got the active streak of games played by a quarterback, and it's pretty high. He's a gamer, man. You know, I tell you what, if he doesn't have the 2 Super Bowl wins, he probably doesn't get in the Hall of Fame. But with the 2 Super Bowl wins, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, he's walking in the Hall of Fame, man. Yeah, you can't underestimate Eli in a clutch moment. I think Big Ben's the better quarterback.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think Big Ben is the better quarterback, man. But Eli is very clutch, man. He's very clutch.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong, man. I always teach people about Eli, but I would love to have Eli. You know, and people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that. I say, nah. I said, man, go look at Eli's stats. Go look at what Eli does in pressure moments, man. Come on, man. Well, you know, you got to live with some of the bad stuff he does, but you know, hey, we lived with some of the bad stuff Brett Favre did, right?
Or what we do in general. You know what I'm saying? What we do in general. You know what I mean? You got to take the good with the bad. So, hey, Greg, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to hold you up much longer. I'm going to go through the NFL games today, man. I'm going to ask you what's your thoughts on it, who might get the win, because there's some big games, man. Before our eyes, Greg, I didn't realize that Miami was on a 6-game winning streak and playing the way they're playing, you know, with them.
It started with us, man, so I don't want to talk about that.
Well, here's the thing, man. They got that running back, J.I., that had 200-yard games, man. They're playing Baltimore today. It's probably a win that you need them to have this time around.
I do.
You think Miami beats Baltimore in Baltimore?
No.
I tell you what, Miami's playing hard, though. They're playing well, though. Miami's playing well, man.
I understand that, but going to Baltimore is a hell of a thing to do, man.
Well,
you know, and I think I just think Baltimore's defense today is going to show up. I hate to say it, I just think they're going to. I want Miami to win, but I just going into that environment, at this time of the season
Uh-huh.
is this is gonna. Let me tell you, this game right here might be the most important game for Miami all year, man.
And you know what? This could be, because right now as we speak, they have the second wild card. This could be their season. If they win, they're serious. If they lose, they're not quite there yet. So I agree with that. And I want to talk about these next two games. You got the Atlanta Falcons leading their division at 7-4. To my surprise, Tampa Bay is a game behind at 6-5. All right? Atlanta is hosting Kansas City. Tampa Bay is on the road in San Diego. At the end of the day, are they tied, or do Atlanta continue to have a lead over Tampa Bay?
Check this out. Atlanta doesn't know this, but they in for a game today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They are in for a game.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. Kansas City is no joke, man. Sometimes you don't know which team you get, but one thing you know, Andy Reid is going to have them ready to play. And they're smelling blood, too, man. I mean, you know, they got Miami on.
Isn't that running back coming back for Kansas City?
I believe so. I believe so. And plus, Miami is on their tail for the 5th spot, with Denver on the tail of both of them. So this is definitely a must-win for Kansas City, because I don't think anybody catches Oakland. But you're right. Atlanta's in for a game. And I'm going to tell you something, man. You know, nobody talks about Tampa Bay and Winston because, you know, that division is clearly Matt Ryan and Cam Newton, and then there's Drew Brees. But, yeah, Jameis Winston, quietly, that team is having a solid year.
Let me tell you something, man. I'm telling you, them guys is dangerous over there. They are dangerous over there. You hear me? You have to beat them. Like, you really have to beat Tampa Bay.
I agree.
You know? You really have to beat Tampa Bay. Because if you don't, they will beat you. They will beat you, man.
I agree.
And like I said, and like you're saying, let me tell you something, man. If Atlanta loses this game this weekend, it's going to get very interesting next week.
Yeah. I agree. And you know what? It'll make exciting locker room water cooler talk for me on the job tomorrow, because anytime the Falcons lose, you know, I have nice conversations with people at the job.
Man. Hey, let me tell you, because most of my friends are either Falcon fans, Giant fans, or Dallas fans, man. That's what I deal with.
Yeah.
That's what I deal with.
Right now, man, I run from the Cowboy fans, man, because they're talking about Dak for president. They're just, I mean, it's just everything, man. But you know, but that's a good story.
They're the worst. They're the worst fans I've ever run into in my life. I've been dealing with them all my life. They give them a glimpse of anything. Oh, forget about it. They take over the world, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Greg, man, I'm gonna close on the NBA, man, and then I'm gonna get on out of here, man. But the Atlanta Hawks, man, they get blown out by 44 yesterday, man. This was a team that started out at 9-2, and now they're 10-11, man, and just going in the opposite direction. With Paul Millsap being a free agent at the end of the season, man, should the Hawks be buyers or sellers come trading deadline, man? Should they look to trade Millsap, or maybe should they try to bring in somebody to help make a playoff run?
I think it's the front office, man.
Yeah?
I think it's the front office, Ramel.
Yeah, it may be.
Go back the last few years, Ramel.
Uh-huh.
You know, they've had players, Ramel. It's not the problem that Atlanta don't get the players. It's something with that front office, man. I don't know if it's coaching, Ramel. It's something that's not right beyond the basketball court with the Hawks.
I don't know if I don't know how to put this in perspective, and I haven't given it that much thought to try to put it in perspective. But since it says no notes straight from the throat, man, is that, you know, they have a problem with retaining players. You know, here's the thing. They when Christian Laettner came over there and he cleaned house. He got rid of Joe Johnson. He traded him. People was excited about that. Then he didn't re-sign Josh Smith. he picked up two guys, Millsap and Damari Carroll, and it looked like that was the move. But then Damari Carroll walks. Then Horford walks. There's no doubt in my mind that Millsap walks. You get rid of Teague over Schroeder, which Teague is clearly the better player than Schroeder.
Oh, yeah.
You bring in Howard. I mean, okay, you bring him home. But one thing about Howard, as a big man, he can't be your first option nor your second option no more because the game is not played inside out. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to be, questioned over there. And if you poll NBA players, Atlanta is one of the best destinations to live or hang out and have fun, but nobody wants to come and play for the team. So it's got to be something internally. Maybe it's the treatment that they did Dominique Wilkins when he was getting older, because they treated him like D-Wade.
But my thing is, Ramel, look how far back that goes, man, dealing with the Hawks.
And it haunts them today. It haunts them today. It haunts them today.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's my point right there. Like, there's something going on up there. Whoever's making these decisions, dealing with that front office and dealing with it, it's horrible, man. They can't keep nobody.
It's funny. It's funny that you touched on the front office, Greg, and because one thing I've said over the years about the Atlanta Hawks, and some people laughed at me as I say this don't mean nothing, man. But think about this for a second and walk with me on this. Since Dominique Wilkins, what player has the Hawks had that when they're on the road, you see a fan with their jersey on in the stands? Now, I bring that up because that goes back to front office. Who are they drafting? Who are they attracting? Who are they signing? Dwight Howard might be that player this year that you might find his jersey on the road. And I might seriously doubt that. I might seriously doubt that. D-Wade goes on the road, you're going to see his jersey. Carmelo goes on the road, you're going to see his jersey.
Chris Paul. You're going to see this guy's jersey.
Yeah, but you're not going to see Atlanta Hawks jersey on the road.
Yeah, you're right. I don't see it.
You don't see it.
And if you do, it's a Dominique jersey.
Right. It's a throwback. Maybe a Thursday night on TNT, they're playing, and somebody's got a throwback Dominique jersey on. That's sad. Hey, Greg, man. Hey, thanks for spending your Sunday morning with me, man. We got to do it again, man. It's great insight from your behalf, and I appreciate the love and you tuning in, man. So, you have a blessed day, man, and I'm sure we'll chop it up again.
I got one question for you.
Sure. Go right ahead.
Towns or Davis?
Wow. I tell you what, man. If I'm looking for a center, I'm going with Towns. If I'm looking for a power forward, I'm going with Davis. With that said, I think I would take Davis over Towns, period. But I see them playing two different positions. But, man, that's a nice problem to have if I had to pick between the two of them.
Yeah. You don't lose. It's not like you're really losing much. But, like I said, man, I just tell people, man, that I understand about Towns and everything. I have to see more of him, man.
Yeah. But he's only getting better.
Right. But let him play. Let him play. We have to see more of him.
Yeah.
Just because somebody puts a 30, 40, okay, because we have seen people come into the NBA and burn out quickly.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. Hopefully Tibbs will keep him on track, man. I respect Tibbs as a coach, so hopefully he's in good hands over there, man. But once again, Greg, thanks for the call. Yeah. Thanks for spending your Sunday morning with me. And we'll chop it up again.
Okay.
All right. All the best. One. Yeah, that's my man Greg, man. He spent the Sunday morning with me, man. I appreciate that, man. A lot of insight he had to offer, man. As you can see, he's a big Penn State fan, a big Pittsburgh fan, man. It surprises me that Greg, growing up in New York, man, is a fan of Pennsylvania sports, man. But, hey, That's what happens sometimes, man. That's what happens, man. But with the question he brought up with Anthony Davis and Karl Anthony Towns, that's a good segue into my last segment of the show, and that was, what a game at Kentucky yesterday in the college basketball with UCLA and Kentucky, featuring top 5 teams in the country. UCLA goes into Kentucky and pull off the upset. And what a game it was. I mean, it was 97-92. You had 27 teams send scouts there. I mean, you probably had some lottery picks in there. Watch out for that kid Lonzo Ball over at UCLA, man. What a star he is, man. His father used to play professional football in the NFL for a couple of seasons. Got good work ethic. Watch out for that guy. Watch out for that guy. I think he's going to be one of the freshman players of the year. He's probably going to go in the top 5, 6'6" point guard. He can do it all, man. He had an off night, they said yesterday, with 14 points and 7 assists. You take that any night. You take that any night. I'll take that from Derrick Rose every night with the Knicks. Come on, man. Great game, but that's something to keep an eye on, man. What a game it was in Kentucky. Hey, Kentucky suffered their first loss of the season. UCLA looked like their Final Four bound, possibly a championship team. So, hey, it is what it is, man. Sometimes you just can't win them all, man. But what a great game that was. Keep an eye on both of those teams going forward, man. Listen, I want to thank y'all for spending your Sunday mornings with me. And we're going to go ahead and close out. And again, thanks to Greg for tuning in and calling up. I really appreciate that. And in the meantime, man, y'all have a blessed day and enjoy your day. This is Ramel, chopping it up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat.